So, the Brooklyn Bridge can be a pretty popular spot, especially for tourists that come in. And we've been talking about this action today to clear the Brooklyn Bridge of all those vendors that have been set up. They sell the hats, they sell the knickknacks.
I mean, you've walked across it.
With the family.
Until you see the video here, you can barely squeeze through any of this.
And that's the concern from the mayor, because the mayor says that the Brooklyn Bridge crowds have become too dangerous. And so he says it's not only a sanitary issue with people leaving things behind and that sort of thing, it's also a public safety issue. Listen to this.
People were jumping over the bridge onto the bike path because we came to a blockage. And so I'm not quite understanding those that are not clear that you can't have a bridge lined up on both sides with vendors selling all sorts of items, and it created this bottleneck. So if you needed an emergency egress to get off the bridge, people would have trampled over each other. We need order in the city.
So you can be a Mayor Adams fan or not, but sometimes when someone says common sense, you need to listen. That was clearly a safety issue. Lindsay, you've been there since the overnight hours, and you saw them taking those tables off even before anybody was awake this morning. The NYPD was there doing the deal, making sure that way was clear. What's happening right now?
Yeah, absolutely. It is very cold out right now, but that is not stopping the many people who walk the bridge, whether they do it every day or because they're visiting from doing so. If you can see behind me, it's crowded as usual here on this 140-year-old iconic New York landmark, the Brooklyn Bridge. But what you won't see today, though, is the many vendors that typically also set up shop, because today is the day that crackdown officially begins. There are signs that are lining the span of the pedestrian walkway. It's a 6,000-foot-long bridge. There's signs warning that the many vendors who normally do set up shop selling things ranging from souvenirs like shirts and hats and snow globes to hot dogs and water, that they will not be allowed to do so. That started officially at midnight. And we did see police officers, NYPD, here early this morning around 4:15, breaking down some of those tables that usually are set up for those sellers. And that was a warning that you will not be able to do so. Now, the reason for this crackdown, according to City Hall, was in large part because it was just getting absolutely too crowded, with an average of 30,000 pedestrians walking across this bridge every day. Officials say that it was just getting unsanitary and dangerous, as people were potentially jumping over, as you heard from the mayor, to get off, and creating these massive bottlenecks. We did speak with some people walking across this morning who had a range of opinions on this official new rule.
I was a regular bridge walker, and it got to the point, as the number of vendors increased and increased exponentially, you just couldn't walk the bridge anymore. It was dangerous, it was unsafe, and I just said it's not worth it. And so I stopped walking the bridge. Today is like Independence Day.
It's a mixed blessing. We love the freedom of walking without any obstructions, but we also feel wistful about the informal community that was, vibrant on the bridge.
But there's vendors here, and it's cheaper, so we were waiting for that. It didn't happen, so yeah.
So clearly you see some people are very happy about this change. Others are a little disappointed because they can't buy the items that they were planning to buy, which are a little cheaper here than they might be in Times Square. And of course, the vendors are disappointed because for many of them, it's how they make a living. So the city council is looking into a bill potentially implementing that would allow the vendors to return, but in order to maintain the size from not getting too large, they would be required to be 20 feet apart. But for now, the enforcement is strictly in place. If you try to set up a table, the cops will not let you.